And let me change it around that way. That's better. I feel on the right side of the force now. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to this pre-match Man City game before we go up to the Etihad to play Manchester City away. It's worth it. After the debacle of the North London derby, are we expecting Tottenham to bounce back? Well, we do have a good record up there, so let's hope. So, Philip, the Godfather, will be joining us in a minute. But with me to start off the show is the one and only Mia. Mia, how are you this afternoon? Are you confident for tomorrow? And do you think we'll get a result while we're up there?
No, I'm not confident. I normally am confident with this game because we have had their number for a little while, but this feels different because it feels like because they've lost to Man United, it means like a lot to them. So I feel like they have got more like jeopardy to win and they will want to win. And I feel like they're going to spank us completely, or we're going to really get a tight 2-1 or something silly like that. But I do think that the spanking's coming. I do think that they're due to get someone real bad, and I think it is going to be us.
Yeah. Philip, how are you this afternoon, sir? Looking very smart with your haircut and everything. Look,
I had to check the back of it because it was done by an Arsenal fan, so God knows what he's done. He could have carved Gunners in my head, top of my head, and I can't even see it.
probably has.
Yeah,
I love Arteta probably on the back there or
probably.
something.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
maybe he's just Lego Man in the back of my head. Anyway, no. How am I fixed about tomorrow? Let's just say this is one of the least matches to look forward to of the entire season.
Oh, no.
But we went up there last season and no one gave us a chance, and look what we did. So football's a funny game. Now, if Tottenham have any spine to them at all, they'll show up tomorrow night and try and make up for what they didn't do on Sunday. I can't see us winning, but even a narrow defeat would be acceptable. But if we go up there and get hammered, God knows the damage that's going to do, and that could be irreparable.
Do you think, right, I'll start on this though, do you think Conte would leave if we lose that game tomorrow? Do you think he might walk out and say, right,
No,
that's it?
I reiterate my thing. Conte will run down his contract. He'd be a lame duck. Levy won't sack him because he won't want to pay the 15 million, whatever it is, compensation. So we're going to be stuck with probably the same squad for the rest of the season, unless something drastic happens in the next few days. And a lame duck manager who's running down the clock, looking at his watch every 5 minutes, and won't give a shit. Basically, that's the problem. That's the problem I can see. Unless the fan base becomes so disgruntled that they start shouting Conte out at matches.
Yeah.
I can see that coming because let's face it, he hasn't lived up to his reputation or what we expected this season so far.
Is that the players, guys? I'll go with you. This, Mia, is that the players? I would very quickly, Mia, big up to Wayne Carr. Says, afternoon, Mia, Philip Dermot. Hope you guys are doing well. Big up. And he says, Dermot, if you ever do a fan call-in show, I'd love to perhaps for a few minutes to join. Yeah, we do. We're doing one. I think we're doing... We were doing them on a Friday, but I think I'm going to change it up a little bit and do them on a Tuesday sort of thing. Mia Ellie and Mia will do them. But yeah, more coming. Now, we've got 5 members. If we can get it up to 10, we'll be turning it into a members-only show. So please, more than welcome to come on. But the membership's there as well. They're $2.99. Philip, very quickly, do you want to tell one about the competition we have coming up with the joining the 2 memberships?
This will be starting in February.
Yeah,
this will be starting in February, I think. What it is, we're going to pick 10 matches a week. Now, there could be Premiership, there could be Championship, there could be Scottish League, there could be anything. And we want you to predict not the score, but the results of these matches. So you get 1 point for a home win, 1.5 points for a draw, and 2 points for an away win. And to keep it a little bit interesting, there are 2 side bets on it as well. One is one of the matches will be picked as a forecast match. So say it's Spurs Man City. So you'll predict the score of that. And the person that gets the score right, or anybody that gets the score right, gets 2 points. And also, how many goals are scored in those 10 matches, be it 20 goals, 15 goals, 17 goals, and again, 2 points for that. So you have 3 ways of scoring. There'll be a scoreboard kept at the end of every game. And at the end of the season, the winner will get a Tottenham shirt of their choice and a Spurs football. And the third prize is a season ticket for Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want Champions League football, that much you might have to go.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, here Mia's getting the hatchets ready for me down below. You can hear her just generally just sharpening up her knives, aren't you, Mia?
Yeah,
Yeah,
not impressed.
Mia's such in shock with that statement. She's passed out on us.
Oh dear. Oh
Oh
dear.
no.
I can't believe you'd even mention their names. Like,
Oh well, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Big up to Rob Belcher. He said, "This is more like it. Real chat, respect as always. Thank you so
Yeah.
much." Well, and you will get it on here like that, Rob. Me and Philip made our points extremely clear last night, and he said, "One puts Kurt. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I might debut without a cam on, a bit shy. That is fine. As you can see, Mia comes on without her cam on. It is quite all right, sir. So big up." The main man in the house. Big up, Sean Butler. Again, sorry, Mia,
Actually,
just mute you there for a minute. Sorry. Oh, that's better. Big up, Shawnee. Love your morning walks, you and Bugsy Malone. And big up, Sean. Everyone, please get over to Spurs Talk Show. Really does brilliant morning walks in the morning. And a
yeah.
top man to boot as well.
Top channel, top man. Well done,
Yeah.
Sean.
A proper Spurs gentleman. He really is. And I've spent time with him when I went over to Spurs last year. An absolute gent to meet as well.
And
Top
so
man.
knowledgeable about the financial side of Spurs as well. He really insight into that, which is very, very informative.
It is, and he really is. So everyone, please get over to Shawnee's channel and hit a like and subscribe and watch his morning walks. But do it here first before you go over there. Big up, Catman Jess. Big up. It says, big up, Dermot, Mia, and the Godfather, Philip. Big up. And he also says, and ladies as well. HOTSPUR TV, big up HOTSPUR. Also, do you know the same to HOTSPUR as well? He says, I hate to say it, but I only see a battering tomorrow like a 6-0 to Man City. It isn't Conte we have. It isn't Conte. We had a Jose and Poch and even Nuno with lots of this first team squad. Same failures. Change, sign the players. Well, look, we all know what our problems lay. We all know where they lay. They lay at the back. We know that. So, look, there's 2 weeks to run in the window of miracles beyond miracles. We might sign somebody. It might change. Look, Conte could sign a contract. We could get 2 players in. Conte signs a long-term contract. Everything is sort of rosy that we can build on it. Until he signs that contract, we're in limbo. And I think, as I said yesterday, guys, and I'll start with you, Mia, and then I go to you, Philip. Are we in the middle, Mia, of a Mexican standoff that it's the first one to blink? Is it going to be Conte? Is it going to be Levy? And like Poch and Tuchel are waiting in the background to pick up the pieces.
yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it? Like, I do think it is a bit of a Mexican standoff, and I really don't think that Levy's going to blink. I'm going to be honest. I just don't think so, because we know that he's super stubborn and we know Conte's super stubborn. So I just think he's going to run out his contract. I think he's going to say, actually, I'm not signing another contract. You can either sack me and pay me the rest of that money, or you can wait until summer. So that's probably.
Yeah, that's true. Philip, where do you stand in all of this? I mean, look, he's got 6 months left in his contract. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think if we lose tomorrow, Levy might just bite the bullet and say, "Look, sod this. I'm buying. I'm going to pay you out the last 6 months," and say, "Sod it."
Oh, I'd say it would kill him to have to do that. Not so much sacking him, but paying out the money. That would be the bit that would kill him. But you're right, though. It's a Mexican stand-up, and it's absolutely crucifying the club. And I wish to God the 2 guys would bang their heads together and get it sorted out.
Yeah.
They're playing politics with each other, and it's affecting every one of us fans. You know, we're the ones that are suffering from them. Like those guys are both they're multimillionaires. The money should mean nothing to them at this stage. You know, but it seems to be that the money seems to be the root of all evil here. One guy won't spend it, and the other guy wants to spend it, but is not given the money to spend by the other fella. So it's it's crazy. If we lose tomorrow night, the humour was bad on Sunday. Now, okay, we're probably less expected. Would be less surprised if we lose to Manchester City. But I can see the atmosphere getting really toxic tomorrow night if things
Yeah.
don't go our way tomorrow. And I hate to know what I wouldn't like to predict what's going to happen on Saturday. Maybe he will sack him. Maybe that would be the best thing for the club and get a manager in that can do something for the rest of the season and still has a bit of time left to buy players if that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But I'm worried. Tomorrow night is a type of match where I could easily have a power cut when we go 4-0 down. So I'm just warning you.
Yeah, and we will be doing. Do you know something? We didn't do a watch along Saturday, Philip. Sunday, and we lost. Maybe doing them. We have this unbeaten run doing these watch alongs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You can blame us.
I've got a paper doll of Pep Guardiola. I'll be sticking pins in it the whole night.
So are you saying, Dermot, that it was your fault that we lost to Arsenal? That's it.
No, I'm not.
Blaming you now from now on. It's your fault. If you don't watch the matches, it's your fault. Tut tut.
Oh Lord, tut is right. I'll pick up Wembley one as well. He says Levy's just itching to get his boy Ryan Mason and Lord Jesus back in the manager's seat. Levy then is Levy. This is an efficient team manager. Oh, I don't know, Ryan Mason. I will come back to that Wembley one.
He's right though. If Mason does go back, and Mason will be a yes man, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want that. Like, we want someone to stand up to Daniel Levy. But okay, I think Thomas Tuchel's been mentioned. Now, is he another Chelsea mistake to bring in another Chelsea ex-manager, ex-Chelsea manager? But I think Tuchel might be a better fit for us at the minute. But who'll see? I want Conte to succeed. But each game that goes by, like Sunday, my faith in him is slipping away.
Yeah. We've got Carl Simpson, big up Carl. We've got Lisa as well. She's saying hi, Carl. Elias, big up. Rob Belcher says, as Spurs talk show, hi, Sean Body. Hope your ankle isn't too bad after your icy slip up.
Oh.
We need your accent content.
Yeah,
I was watching a bit as I was working today, putting this show together. So I hope you're all right, Shawnee. Keep that leg up, sir. And we've got Digibit WhatsApp G. Is that Was up. Okay. A bit like the fella. Do you remember the Tango advert years ago, Philip? I don't know, a bit too young. Do you remember?
That was the Budweiser advert. It was the Budweiser advert. What's that?
Yeah, that's it. And then Wayne Bonner, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. And if you want to be like Wayne Bonner, you want to be like a few other people in the chat, get your memberships. It does help the channel. Get your super chats on as well. It does help the channel grow. It helps us grow. And we've got Brian Maguire. Big up, Brian. Tuchel is a Spurs fan. Conte, I trust. I think that's like all of us as well. Absolutely, Conte. Thoughts on Declan Rice? Well, me and Philip both call him a traitor. Traitor, turncoat, whatever you want to call him. He's So
good
that's
player,
what
he's a good
great player. Yeah, I wish he was at Spurs though.
Yeah,
to be fair. But yeah,
Arsenal's supposed to be in front of next season.
Yeah, well, let's get in there first. Mia, what do you think of Declan Rice? Me and Philip think he's a turncoat and a traitor for turning his back on his country. But
I think he's a good player, but I wouldn't say he's a brilliant player because I think he's a bit overrated. I think he's good, but I don't think he's like one of the best in his position.
Yeah, that's true. Big, and then Wayne Bonner puts, I agree with the Mason comment. Levy puts him in charge. We have to refuse to back a manager who wins trophies and sells for cheap, inexperienced players to sell on. What do you think, Mia?
I think that he won't put Mason in charge completely for a long. I think he won't do it. It'll be short term if he did it. Yeah. So I don't think he's going to do it long term because he didn't last time. So I just don't think he will, to be honest.
No. Okay, well, we are away at Man City tomorrow. Just give you a few bits of details on the Man City game. With location, of course, is in the Etihad Stadium tomorrow. Kick-off at 8 o'clock in the UK. 3 o'clock in Eastern time in America, and 12 o'clock, I think that is Canada Pacific time. The VAR is Darren England. The referee is Simon Hooper. And then this is Tottenham's and Manchester City's head-to-head. Man City have won twice. Tottenham are ahead 3-2. And this is the current form now. Man City now have lost two out. They've lost two, one, two, and last game was drawn. So they're going through a bit of a dodgy patch at the moment. But our last 5 games are exactly the same. Sorry, me, I just put you on mute. Are the same. We've lost two, but we haven't won in our last 2 games. So we lost 1-2, then we've lost, and of course we lost then against Arsenal. So our form hasn't been great. If you want to watch the game, if you're in England, you can watch it at Sky Sports main event and Sky Sports Premier League. If you're in the United States, you can watch it on Peacock Premium in the United States. And of course, if you are in Canada, you can watch it on Fubo TV in Canada. Now, the Man City team news. Now, this is the predicted lineup now for Man City: 4-3-3. Edison, Walker, Stones. I like Ankalaï, Aki, De Bruyne, Rodi, Gugon, Foden, Haaland, and Grealish. Mia, how will we stop the likes of Haaland tomorrow night? But Man City haven't been playing well with Haaland. It hasn't been all this great attacking football. So, do you think if we can take Haaland out of the game, that we could actually beat Man City tomorrow night? Because their last form hasn't been brilliant.
Well, they haven't been brilliant. However, the problem we've got is that we can stop Haaland, but we have to also deal with Grealish and De Bruyne. So we have to be on our absolute A game. For me, we have to put Romero onto Haaland, make him more central, and make it so he is on Haaland, in Haaland's ear, whispering little sweet nothings to him about his mum and about his sister and all sorts, just to wind him up and to get onto him, because that's the only way to do it. And then the other two, we have to, like all the others, we have to just be vigilant. And that's where my concern is, because it isn't just Haaland that's dangerous in their team. Let's be honest. De Bruyne is brilliant. Foden, brilliant. Grealish, he's a brilliant player on his day. So, like, we've got so many problems with that team because they're very good players. So yeah, it's a bit problematic.
Yeah, Philip. Now with the this is the City team. You City injuries in central defence have eased since the defeat to Manchester United, with John Stones expected to come back into the side, the partner Manuel Allegri and Ruben Dias. But Kevin De Bruyne is a slight doubt, having been missing from training on Tuesday, but is expected to make the Pep starting 11. Now we know how dangerous Haaland is. But De Bruyne, he's another danger man. Do you know what would you do, Philip? I bring up our starting lineup in a minute, but how would you go man to man with them, or what would you do? How would you stop Haaland and say De Bruyne making any impact?
I would. I know I'm preempting our team selection a little bit. What I would do is I would put an extra player in midfield there, be it Basuma or Papa Sarr, and ask them to go man for man with De Bruyne. Because De Bruyne makes that team tick, and if you can stop the source, stop his passing at source, or at least disrupt it, so he doesn't get his usual supply in there, we've got a chance. And as regarding Haaland and Romero, I watched Haaland play against Everton a couple of weeks ago, and Ben Godfrey, who isn't half the player that Romero is, wound Haaland up something shocking from the first minute, and Haaland was losing the rag. And was lucky not to get sent off for a stupid studs up tackle. He only got booked for it now. He should have been red carded for it, So Haaland is easily wound up, especially if things aren't going well for him. And who better to do it than Romero? Literally. Yeah. I think that's a great hope for us tomorrow, providing they don't put Eric Dyer on Haaland. Now, that's the case. Then I think we'll all pack up and go home. But I think we've got a chance. We've got a chance if Conte gets his team selection right. But if he goes with two in the middle again, we might as well concede the game because we're not going to win.
No. And then the Tottenham team news: Antonio Conte is without cause of long-term apathy. Lucas Moura, I think he's just running down his contract anyway for Thursday's trip to the Etihad. However, after a limp North London derby defeat, some changes could be made. Perisic could start as left wing back, while Ben Davies may replace Longley in the Spurs back three. Bentancur is also fit again and should come into the starting 11. Well, this is the team. Now, this is the predicted team, but this is the team that I think will start tomorrow night. Luis in goal, Romero, Dyer, Davies back three, Doherty, Perisic the wing backs, Højbjerg and Bentancur in midfield. Kulusevski, Son, and Harry Kane up front, playing the 5-2-3 or a 3-4-3 3-5, yeah, 5-2-3. Philip, I know you would make changes to this lineup if you were Conte, and the next pre-match we will be bringing up Philip's team as well and Mia's team as well, just to show their starting lineups. But Philip, if you're a Conte, what changes would you make to that lineup?
I would be, if I was Conte, I would be ruthless. I would drop Hugo Lloris, right, and bring in Fraser Foster. I know that sounds a bit extreme, but Hugo has cost us he's cost us points in the last 2 games. That's 2 out of the last 3 games, I should say. I would play Longley instead of Davis, right? I would leave that back 3 the way it was. I would bring in, I would leave out Heung-min Son, because let's face it, he's done nothing the last few games, and he's going to get no change out of that City defense tomorrow night either. I would bring in either Bissouma or Papa Sarr into the middle to match up the Man City midfield, and also put one of those guys man for man on De Bruyne, and leave Harry and Kulusevski up front. Actually, I would leave Kulusevski dropping in behind Harry, or switching it, that there's one up front and maybe one just in front of the middle 5. Because we're going to have to be tight tomorrow. We cannot let City pour through our midfield, because the back line is not strong enough to withstand that sort of pressure. So I would make 3. Well, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 changes to the team that you've got there. But I think Matt Doherty will play. Perisic will play, certainly. And I think, I know last year we beat them because of Kulusevski and Kane's brilliance. We might need to rely on them again tomorrow. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. Mia, look, Philip wants changes. A lot of people are saying drop Son, put Hill in there. People are also saying put Ben Davis in for Dyer. What would you do if you were Conte, Mia, and what formation would you start off with?
I'd have to say that I do agree with Philip that that formation is probably better to be able to try and obviously match them. However, when we play that way, we're just not creative enough. So that's also a problem, because we're going to try and contain and not score. Oh, it's really difficult. But if I was going to stick to this formation, I would change it by, I don't know if I would play Davies over Longley. I don't think I'll play Mac Doherty. I think I would actually play Royale, because I feel like defensively he is actually slightly better than Doherty, and Doherty was useless in the North London derby. I would change Højbjerg for Sarr. I think the Bentancur and Sarr have not played together yet, and I would be very intrigued to see how they work together. I think that I wonder how that would work. I'm wondering if that would work maybe better. And I wouldn't keep Son. I would have Hill, and I would have Kulusevski and Kane.
But can we risk 3 up front tomorrow? Do we not need to pack the midfield a bit more?
But if we pack the midfield, then we're not going to be creative, Philip. That's what I'm saying, because we don't create at that.
We're not creative anyway. That's the problem. That's really it. I think tomorrow is more down to containment. And if you had Harry Kane dropping deep into number 10 role, Harry can create. It's up to Kulusevski to finish it off. But I take your point. It's very difficult to come up with a suitable team to play a team like City, who have got strength all over the pitch.
Look. For me, Sean says it here, and a few people are saying it in there as well. HOTSPUR Foster for Louise. Son has to be dropped. Look, I agree that there has to be changes made. Look, I would start Hill instead of Son. I would also, I'm agreeing to agree with you, Philip, pack out the midfield, put 3 in midfield. So I put Højbjerg, Sarr and Bentancur in that midfield.
You've got to drop one of the forwards then.
Yeah, well, you'd drop Son then, wouldn't you? And just
you can't bring Hill in. You can't bring Hill in his place, though.
I know that. That's the point I'm making. If you're gonna go with your formation, then you drop Son. That would be obvious, wouldn't it? To be fair, but if you wanted to keep Son and Kane at the front 2, then you would drop Kulu and then bring Sarr into a middle 3. Now, Philip,
can I just make another suggestion? How about Richarlison can play in the midfield but behind Kane? Because then that's someone extra in the midfield, and he also him and Kane can change. So Kane can drop back and Richie go forward, and then they can change over. They can switch it up. So actually, that's, I think, probably slightly better to have Richie there, who can also play more like central.
And
Wayne
plus,
And a
Bonners
bit more
put,
put his
creative.
boots in as well. He'll
yeah,
put himself about a bit because, like, I think we surprised City up there last season. We've surprised them a few times. We were the only team to beat them twice last season. So like they'll know that there could be a reaction from Tottenham tomorrow. So it might not just be as one-sided, providing we field a team that can match them.
yeah. I mean, Wayne Bonners put here, guys, Højbjerg and Bentancur in the middle with Sarr and Kulu as the players who gets the ball out wide to Perisic and to Kane, hit them fast and hard in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
We've got here Dave Hamilton. Big up, Dave. I haven't seen you before in the chat, so welcome to the channel.
And
He says Kane at number 10, Richie up front. That's another way.
yeah.
Shawnee's put here, Philip and Mia, you could play Højbjerg in an advance role.
Yeah, he played that for Denmark in the Europeans, and he was very good. But the thing about it is that I think we're going to have more cover going defensively than attacking tomorrow. Perisic could play more advanced, I think, and he's got creativity in him as well. You know.
Yeah, I think Perisic more like to have him more advanced, and I do really think actually playing Richie. Now I think about it, I think Richie's actually a really good option to have. I think that we haven't seen enough of him, and I think him playing in that position is perfect for him because him and Kane can just interchange between each other. So it means that they won't know who to track and who not to track because Kane could pass in thread through to Richie, and Richie can do the same to him, and that will make it more difficult for City to predict who's going to run forward and who's going to come back.
Just a bit of breaking news. Tottenham ladies side have just Mania Libucci signs for Spurs women. We're delighted to announce the signing of Mana Libucci on loan from Arsenal for the remainder of the season. The World Cup winning with her nation Japan in 2011. Mana will wear the number 20 shirt. So Spurs women have made 2 signings in a window where the men have not made any. So it says a lot, really. But bigger, Mia, very quick on that breaking news. Is that good for the lady side? Are you pleased with that signing?
Yeah, no, it is good. However, the fact that she's loaning from Arsenal doesn't give me good vibes. I'm not going to lie. I never liked that.
No. This is Carl Simpson's team, guys. I'll put this to you, Philip. Foster in goal, Emerson, Romero, Longley, Davis, Perisic, Bentancur, Bissouma, Højbjerg, Decky, and Kane. What do you think to that lineup?
I think we were lacking height at the back there. We have to play Dyer.
Yeah.
You know, Dyer for Davis would be pretty much the same as that, I think, you know. There you go. Son to come off the bench. Hat-trick assured. We've seen him do it before. We've done it before. So.
Yeah, we have. And then HOTSPUR's put Foster, Kulu, Romero, Davis, Longley, Hill, Bentancur, Sarr, Bissouma, Kane, Richarlison. Mia?
I think we can't not play Kulu. I know he didn't play very well, but he needs to get back into fitness. And when he plays, he's really good because he is quite creative. As in, he'll run forward, he'll take a man on, he's strong. I wouldn't want to drop Kulu, but I'd want to drop one of the midfielders. And I'd actually, like I say, I'd like it to be Sarr, Benny, and Richie in the midfield. I think that would actually be better.
Yeah. If you do want to jump ahead of the chat, you can put it into a super chat. The chat's getting a little bit busy at the moment, so if you want to jump ahead and get us to discuss your points, you can put it into a super chat. It does help the channel grow. Guys, we've got a question here from Kev Williams. I'll put this to you first, Philip, and then I go to you, Mia. What would the chances of Lloris being dropped now, considering the clanger he did on Sunday, Philip? He's dropped, I think, 15 points we've lost this season from individual errors from Tottenham players. Would you drop him and bring in Foster?
Well, Hugo was responsible. He's made 4 individual errors this season, which is more than any other player in the Premier League. It's cost goals. I think Foster, again, his confidence is bound to be shot after a game like Sunday. I mean, there's bad enough losing to Villa with a mistake, and the Villa mistake wasn't nearly as bad as the one against Arsenal. I mean, the one against Arsenal was 9-year-old stuff. So, I would bring Foster in for a couple of reasons too. Foster's a big guy. commands the penalty area more. And if you've got a corner coming across, you're going to have the likes of Haaland bullying the defence. You want someone like Foster to come out and give him a clip around the ear and tell him to mind himself.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And Foster is a good goalkeeper. He's a very good goalkeeper, and we're glad to have him because, I mean, some of the other replacements we've had haven't really been up to it. So, yeah, I would get, and it also sends a message to Hugo that your time nearly is up here, Hugo. Thanks a million for your 10 years, but we're looking for a replacement for you shortly.
And Mia?
Sorry. I think that it's really difficult because he's the captain, isn't he? So I feel like that Conte is going to be reluctant to do it because of that reason, and that will make it less likely that he will be dropped. But I think he should be dropped. I really do. I think that we should give Forster a chance because I think that we need to stop having somebody at the back who's so easily unnerved. Because the minute he makes one mistake, then it seems to rattle the whole of that back line, and then they just make loads of mistakes as well. So I think we need someone who's confident, and I think Forster's quite a confident guy. He's got a bit of charisma about him where he's got a bit more confidence. I think if he makes a mistake, he'll brush it off. He doesn't come across like he makes a mistake and he gets all like, oh my God, and goes into panic mode,
And also we've got FTSM Colin, big up, sir. Thanks for joining us. He says 5-4-1, guys. Drop Son Kulu as traditional. I left. Do you want to read this out, Philip? Sorry.
Yeah, 5-4-1. Drop Son with Kulu as traditional. LMRM, left midfield, right midfield. Therefore, it packs the defence a little. They can get back and help defend easier if they're there to be picked. Yeah, I mean, we cannot go the normal 3-4-3 tomorrow. That is just not workable. Not against City. But the problem is Conte has shown himself to be very inflexible when it comes to his tactical. Now, he might change it at half-time or something, but what's the point in changing at half-time when you're 3-0 down or 2-0 down, you know? Change it from the start and prevent it going 2 or 3-0 down. That's my thinking on it. Very good shot. I like this one. Breaking news. Spurs signed 4 strikers, a postman, a nurse, a teacher, and a railway worker. Yeah, that's,
I did respond to that in the group chat. I did say, just give me the nurse and the rest of them could go on the subs bench.
Oh, dear. Well, no. A postman could do us. I mean, the postman could be did a handy delivering a few goals. Teacher could teach them how to score the goals, and the railway worker, he could signal how to score the goals.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Mia, which way would you go on that? with the breaking news, we're signing 4 strikers.
I'm sure they're probably better strikers than the ones we've got at the moment because they're not really doing much, are they? Let's be honest.
There's just another thing that's coming up there as well. I think it came through earlier there that Spurs have offered for Pedro Porro. They've offered cash plus a player.
Yeah, I was just about you. Great line things tonight, Philip, because that's where I was going next.
Yeah, go on. I won't mention what the result is, but go on. We'll wait until you get to that.
Yeah. Well, exclusive. This is from Fabrizio Romero. Exclusive. Tottenham have made an opening bid for Pedro Porro, including 1 player plus guaranteed money. Sporting have rejected this formula.
Yeah.
Talks will continue as Sporting keep asking for 45 million clause. It's getting ridiculous, this. But Spurs are insistent with player keen on move. Now, who could the player be? Who wants to go first with this? Who could the player be? And why can't Spurs just do something simple? Pay the money. We have the money. We're not poor.
No, because right, I'll tell you why. If you watch Sean's videos, you'll know why, and he explained it really well. Because if we give them 45 million up front, the next player that we sell, we're going to need that money up front because we won't have that money. Because what they want it is up front. They don't want it in parts. So that's where your problem is. You can't just expect a club to just fork out that money up front because then that affects the money that we want for our players. So we want upfront money for our players, and then we won't be able to sell them because that's not going to be possible. Most fees are done in part payments. So the fact that they want it all up front is actually quite unreasonable. It is unreasonable. They need to understand that that's not how things normally work.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, look, everyone's saying it's Emerson. We all know it's Emerson that doesn't want to go. Is it because Sporting have seen how Emerson can play? Or is it, do you think Paratici hasn't sent them the video that Barcelona sent us? So
I think, probably is Emerson. Emerson Rowell will be an absolute straight replacement for Porro.
yeah,
Plays in the same position. But yeah, I'd say they probably don't want Royale. They've seen what he's
yeah,
like, Plus, Royale doesn't want to move.
no,
If he goes, he'll be dragged screaming out of the place.
mm,
But Mia's right. Sporting are being unreasonable, and I think they will buckle down in the end. They will give in the end and
mm,
accept the stage payments, because that's the way every other transfer is done, and they can't expect us to absolutely. If we did that, then that would actually hamstring us for the next couple of years playing player wise, because we'd have to ask
yeah,
money up front. And can you imagine asking some clubs from 50 million up front to be sold some player? No chance.
mm,
So it's a cash flow issue, and it should be done.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an absolute cash flow issue, and obviously their company accountant maybe doesn't understand cash flow.
yeah.
You know,
Look, we got the. I want to touch briefly on Conte's press conference yesterday, Philip. We never got a chance to really talk about it properly last
Mhm.
night's show. What it's about, but look, he was saying yesterday that in Italy, in Spain, and Germany, or European football, that especially in Italy, that the sporting director or member of the board comes down once a month, speaks to the fans to explain the vision of the club, where the club are going, what the club's visions are for the next season, for the next couple of years. And he says we don't do that in England. Can you understand Conte's frustration that he can only say so much? But is he right to say to throw Paratici and the board under the bus, as people are saying? Or is it
Yeah,
Conte just throwing these toys out the pram and thinking, look, I'm not going to take the blame here. It's not my fault.
there's a bit of both. There's a bit of
Mm,
both there. He's absolutely perfectly right, and I'd say every other Premiership manager is clapping him and applauding him for saying that,
yeah.
because he's trotted out at before and after every game, same old question, same old this. The medical team should be there at least once a month to give to give an update on how they actually treat injured players, and how our injuries, our recovery rate seems to be
Mm,
very poor compared to other clubs. Paratici, if they can find him, should be brought in at least once a month as
yeah.
well to explain what's happening in the transfer market, the scouting market, where we're looking at. And Daniel Levy should be gagged and put in the corner because we don't want him to say a word,
Mm,
because he'd ruin everything. But yeah, no, there should be more accountability, and there should be
mm,
more openness from the other departments of the club, not just the manager.
yeah. Mia, look, Conte's been very vocal in his press conferences the last few games. Do you think it's more frustration that he's not getting any signers in the door? Of course, how we played badly, we were dreadful against Arsenal. We've been lucky this season. We've got away with it and away with it and away with it. Are the wheels starting to fall off our season now? I know we're still in the Champions League and we're still in the FA Cup, and we are fifth in the league. So if you look at it like that, they'll probably think, oh, this is a good season. But are the wheels starting to fall off this season? And is Conte right now to start throwing people under the bus?
I don't think he's throwing people under the bus necessarily, like in that way. I think he just gets fed up with answering the same questions and him being misquoted and being misunderstood all the time, because his first language isn't English. So sometimes he doesn't mean to say what he says. He kind of says it in like a bit of a haphazard way, because it gets lost in translation. So I think he's just getting a bit fed up with everybody misquoting him and like part quoting him and misunderstanding him and saying, oh, Conte's done this and Conte said this. Can you blame him? No, I can't blame him for that, because I'd get a bit hacked off every single week getting asked the same questions and getting asked the same things. Like, it's all on him, and none of the players come out. Maybe the players should come out in press conferences more after a loss, so they can answer for their crimes. Why didn't you play well enough? Like, they should be answering for their crimes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Philip Mia makes a good point here. Should he be digging out the players like a Dyer, like a Doherty, like players have let us down again and again and again and again this season? Should he be coming out and saying, right, they weren't good enough. This is what I've got to work with. If you can supply me with decent world-class players, I'm out of here. And just
Yeah,
put his cards on the table and be honest.
he should be doing that, but he never will. And I'll tell you why he would never do it. Because if he'd done that to one particular player, 5 minutes after he finished the press conference, that player's agent would be on the phone screaming, demanding a transfer for his player. The agents have to be
Oh,
watched
I
here.
didn't mean.
They've got such hold over their clients.
Mm.
So that's why there's never any direct criticism of any player at a press conference. You've never seen it. I've never ever seen a manager come out and say, Eric Dyer, you played shit today. What was wrong with you? Because that would cause havoc, and that will never happen. Now, it should happen, but it never will. But like bringing out the players during the World Cup, as far as I can remember, each press conference, there was at least one player sitting beside the manager before the games. I don't know about after the match. Now, I didn't bother watching them after the match. But that's the players should be brought out. Like Conte can't say Eric Dyer, you're shit, right? But he can have Eric Dyer sitting beside him at a press conference asking questions from the press, and they can make up their own opinion of him without Conte being said it. You'll get what I'm coming at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant by that. I didn't mean.
Yeah,
for,
I knew
for
what you
Conte
meant,
to
Mia.
drag them.
I
Yeah,
was just
no, I
taking.
was
I was
really.
taking. Yeah, I was just taking your answer into a different sort of direction, if you know what I mean, and just trying to sort of add to that. FTSM Colin, big up. He says, "I'll start with you, Mia, and this, and I'll go to you, Philip. What would your thoughts be? What would your thoughts on Spurs going for Harry Maguire for the rest of the season on loan? Look, very quickly, if it's the Harry Maguire from Leicester, I would have no problems. He was brilliant at Leicester. If it's the Harry Maguire at Man United, then yeah, I would have a problem. He's just as bad as Eric Dyer. But Mia, do you know if it was the Harry Maguire from Leicester, has Man United not suited him? Maybe a fresh start. We may get the better Harry Maguire if it comes to us. What would you say to Colin Mia? Would you agree?
I'm in real two minds with him. I do kind of see your point, but then I've seen how he has been at Man U. But then for England, he isn't too bad. So it's like a really like up and down. So I can't make my mind up whether I'd be happy with that or not. Because if he comes on loan and then he's just the exact same, then we're going to just have two Eric Dyers on our hands. So it's going to be like a pair of clowns. And do we want that? No. I'd rather try and get in somebody who at least we know is going to be good, like we did with Romero. It's I don't know. I just think, are we going to be like for like in that way? And that's not worth doing. It's a risk. Basically, it's a bit too risky for me, in my opinion.
Philip, Harry Maguire.
Yeah, I'd take him because I've seen enough of him playing for England there. Now that wasn't his Man United form. He's played very well for England during the World Cup. He's one of the better players, and it's a risk. I take what Mia said. It's a definite risk bringing him because his form at United. But I think that's maybe down to a lot of the dressing room stuff that's been going on at United. And if he goes into a new environment, I think there's a chance he might become the player we know he is. And he would certainly be an addition. Let's face it, he would improve our back line. I don't think he'll disimprove it. And from that reason, I would take him.
Andrew Gregory here makes a very good point. He says there is no accountability from Levy, the board, the director of football, the medical team, and the players. It's always the coach, manager that pays because of Levy. Because for Levy, it's cheaper to sack them than back.
Yeah.
Guys, look, we know. Look, Levy's made a lot of mistakes in his time when we've had so many managers. Do you think it is time now just to change course? Do you think Levy will ever change his spots?
He's 20 years scratching the same ones. He's never changed his spots. Like, I'd love to tot up. I'm sure somebody has probably got this figure. How much Levy has paid out in compensation to sacked managers over the years? I'm sure we could have built a team with the amount of money he's paid out to managers.
Yeah.
And like if a leopard won't change his spots, obviously, I think that we all, to varying degrees, would like to see a change of ownership at the club. I think that's really the only way forward. And we see this Sir Jim Ratcliffe now pitching to bid Manchester United. The richest man in Britain. He would have been the ideal guy to buy us. But for some reason, he's not. He's done a sponsorship deal with us for those 4x4 cars there recently, for whatever they are. But isn't it strange now? You think the next follow-up would be a bid for the club. My thinking on that is, he's had a chat with Levy about what's the next step forward, and Levy's bounced him off and said, no, I'm not dealing with you. I don't want to sell. And now he's moved on to Manchester United. And do you know what's going to happen there? Man United are going to come so much stronger with his money behind them, and we're going to go further down the pecking order. So,
I want to say big up to Derek Hutchison and big up to Chris as well. Dermatron, Philip Brady and Mia. Big up, Chris. guys.
Hope things are good in Newcastle, Chris.
Yeah, let us know let us know. Look, I want to go on down this route now for a little bit if I can. It's about the Tottenham Hotspur Sports Trust agree with Conte's demand, greater clarity about the club's aspirations.
Yeah.
Now I've got what they said here, so I'm going to read out the article if that's okay, guys, or if you want to read it out, Philip, you can.
Yeah, I really will. I really.
Yeah, if I bring it up, and then we'll discuss what we think of what the supporters trust is going now. It's the supporters trust doing what they're supposed to do. So Philip will read out the statement here, and then we'll take it from there. Go on, Philip. There.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, we asked the board of THFC to outline its strategy and vision. Today, Antonio Conte asked for the same thing. It is clear to everyone that for there to be a chance of success at this club, the vision and strategy of the board and manager must align. We understand the widespread discontent among Spurs fans who have loyally supported the club through the 22 years of the current ownership, years in which success on the pitch has not matched its increase in the price of watching the team. It is time for the club's board to clarify its approach to achieving success on the pitch and to commit the necessary resource and support to secure that. The club cannot continue to drift from one approach to another. We urge the club to reconsider their decision not to provide answers to the key questions raised by THST and many individual supporters until February, and to provide these answers now. It is perfectly possible to do this without compromising the club's commercial position. Spurs fans deserve greater clarity about the club's aspirations.
Now, guys, I'll start with you, Philip, on this. Is it about time? Are the supporters trust too late doing this, where they should have done it last season when the European Super League, where they weren't really quick enough to get in and do what they're supposed to do? Are you glad that now the supporters trust are now putting these questions and putting this out saying, look, it's no good waiting to the 1st of February. We want an answer. We want it now.
There's absolutely no reason why they can't give an answer now. As far as I know, the club's year end was the end of December, right? So, holding on to the results until the answers to the questions until February, to me, it's a cop out. It really is. It's not going to answer any questions because what happens if we don't sign any players in January? It gives them plenty of time to get their excuses ready, But there are no excuses. So those questions should be answered now, very quickly now. So 2 weeks to go in the transfer window to give us time to get players in. And I totally agree with the supporters trust. Now maybe they've showed their teeth a little bit too soon, a bit too late. They should have done this before. And also there's been questions asked about the makeup of the supporters trust. How many of them are actually real fans, or how many of them are Levy stooges? We don't know that. But I think it's time for the real fans on the supporters trust now to get their act together and demand, which they have done now. And it'll be very interesting to see what the response from the club is. Are they going to reject this request? If they reject this request, they're going to cause further anxiety amongst the fans. So I think they have to see sense here and release the answers to the questions.
Mia, look, I agree with everything Philip says there, what he said. Look, to supporters trust is there to be a supporters trust for the fans. Do you think that they haven't been strong enough in the past? And are you hoping for a new supporters trust now that shows a bit more grit, a bit more gumption, and a bit more do what they're supposed to do?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard them talk. Now, I'm not a big fan of them. I'm really not. Like the ones that I've heard speak, I think they've got nothing about them. They're a bit, I don't know, I'm just not a big fan. And it sounds really strange, but if these people are going to represent us as a fan base, I feel like you've got to trust in them. So they're not only a supporters trust, they should be trusted in as well. So it's got to work both ways. And I don't feel like I trust them. I don't particularly like them. When I've heard them talk, I'm not a big fan. I've got to be honest. And it sounds bad, but see if it's just like people that are just everyday fans who are passionate fans, and they speak a certain way, and you can think to yourself, yeah, I can relate to you. I know you've got our best interest at heart. But I just don't think they do. I just think sometimes they do this for a bit of like a, look at us, look, we're trying, guys. And I'm a bit like, are you though? Are you? Did you come and step up like before? Do you do really enough? I don't know. Like, I'm not a big fan, I have to be honest, with the current ones.
Look. For me, I think it's a little too much, little too soon, too late. If you get my meaning, they should have done this a season ago. They should have come out and asked questions. Even during the summer
Do you know what
when
it
the
feels? Sorry.
now go ahead, go on.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like because the fans are kicking up a fuss, they're like, oh, we better do something. Oh, we better show that we're doing our actual jobs.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, which is disingenuous.
It is. I mean, are you there, Philip? First. All right, Philip's not
I
there
think he's
for a
on
minute.
mute.
I think he's on mute. Mia, look, what do you think they should have come out in the summer as well? And when we
Yeah.
saw the transfer window going a bit quiet like it did, do you think they should have come out, put something out before the summer window? This is what we expect. And do you think they should? Do you think the club should come out? Look, at the end of every season, for the start of a new season, look, this is our vision for this season. This is what we want to do. This is how much money the manager has to spend.
I think
Be
the
a bit
money
more
thing.
honest.
I don't think the money thing's necessary, because then if people know how much money you've got, then that means you're going to be more likely to get charged more. So don't forget that. I think the money side of things, people get too wrapped up in the money side of things.
Yeah.
But I think the plan for the manager to say we're going to back the manager, we're going to give him like players that he wants and so on, that's fine. Because to me, it doesn't matter how much the players are, it's about what the manager wants. So for me, they have to come out and say, we are going to back this manager. So that's how I think they should word it, not necessarily about the money, because I know the money thing bugs people, but I don't see that as a big issue. That's, to me, isn't the biggest issue. It's about backing him. So yes, they should have done it before. And that's why I said it's a bit like disingenuous and a bit lame. And I just think that the supporters club, I don't know. And the club should do that. Yes, I think they should. And there's no reason why they can't.
Yeah. I mean, at Wembley, one could say, I'm not a fan of the trust, but I cannot fault the wording of the statement. Well, neither can I. And the questions that they have sent to the club, I can't either. To the point and businesslike. The club and the naturally won't respond. The cowards. Look, I think the club should have responded straight away. I think that the wording of the statement, I think, was spot on, and the questions, I agree with Wembley one. It was put right. The club should have responded. This is what's adding to the anger, I think, in the fan base, that we don't see a vision. You hear other clubs, Newcastle, when Newcastle got bought over, the owners said, this is the vision we see for the club. And then very much, I don't know if Chris can tell me what it's like up in Newcastle, but for me, from a outside looking in, it seems to be the fans know what the vision is, and they've all bought into that vision. We've never had a vision here at Tottenham. When Daniel Levy bought the club, he says there's no passion for football. We're a financial company, and he said that when in 2001 when they bought the club. So even then, we should have fans. Then I think we're so glad to get Sugar out, to get Enoch in. I think if you had the time over again, was Sugar all that bad? And that's the point I'm making. We've had 22 years of leaving and Enoch not backing managers, sacking Viola at half time. What's the Sugar years that bad? Philip, I'll start with you. Was getting Alan Sugar out the bet? I know he was bad, but he isn't as bad. He wasn't as bad as these lot have been for the last 22 years.
There was quite a few protests. I looked it up since. There was quite a few protests about Sugar in the Venables era. Most people supported Terry Venables.
Yeah.
In that, but then again, it turned out Venables wasn't quite the knight in shining armor that we thought he was, and that's why he lost the court case to Sugar in the end. So there was. In fact, I would say, if I had to take a guess, I would say that the protests then are probably more vociferous than the one we have now. but they weren't reported on as much because it wasn't social media, so you didn't
Yeah,
see that much about it.
yeah, but the point I'm making, Philip, is we all wanted Sugar out, and we got him out, and we got Levy and Enoch in.
Yeah. Well, you
I
see,
know we,
Alan Sugar was a businessman, was made an
yeah,
offer for the shares, and he said, "Well, I'll cash in now." I said, I haven't got time for all this shit I'm taking," and he went. But Levy's a different animal.
mm,
Levy doesn't seem impervious. Doesn't seem to all the criticism doesn't seem to bother him at all up to now,
yeah.
anyway. So
If
they're
you were
different
to
types
take
of people.
Philip, if you were given an option for the Alan Sugar to come back
Yeah,
and take over the club, if we could say, let's go back into 2001. We know now. We know now what we got back knowing what we know now.
yeah.
Would you want? And Sugar was going to sell to Levy and Enoch. Would you protest to stop the sale going through if you went back and you knew now what you knew then? If you do you know what I mean? If
No,
you
no.
put yourself,
I'd let Sugar come back in because I mean he saved us once. He can do it again.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Not that it's going to happen. It's a hypothetical question, but yeah, I
yeah,
would. I think Alan Sugar has got the. If he had the money to buy it, like I'm not even sure if Alan Sugar would have the money to buy Spurs at the minute. But yeah, I would take him. He was probably after everything had died down in '96 or whenever it was, or
mm,
whenever this court case against Venables was. Like it turns out, Sugar, according to the law, anyway, Sugar was in the right.
yeah,
So that's as much as we can go on.
yeah. I mean, Mia, me and Philip can remember the Scholar times. We can remember the Sugar times. Philip can remember the owners before Ivan Scholar. If you could pick, I mean, I'm saying like the Philip. If we could go back in time and stop the sale of Sugar to Enoch, would you be there protesting to Alan Sugar, do not sell to these clowns?
No, I
Or
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. You're mad. Are you actually crazy? Like, when you think about it, right, financially, what Sugar was doing to us in comparison to what Levy has done, it's not like we are now so much better off because I know everyone goes, oh, but the stadium, this and it's just a stadium. But when you think about it, we're trying to keep up financially with a much different type of Premier League than we had before. So we've
hmm,
had to keep up. And Levy has kept us afloat. We're one of the best run clubs. Ask any other club, right? Ask Man United what they think about how they're run. Ask other clubs what they think, Everton, about how they think they're
hmm.
run. And you look at Tottenham and you take for granted how well run that we actually are. You've got to understand that a business, I know people don't like the business side of the football, but that matters as well. And Sugar would not have done that. So anybody who says
Yeah, but
otherwise, who wants Sugar
Mia,
back,
I
it's
can
mad.
remember back to yeah, but I can remember back to the 1991 where we nearly didn't have a football club. Well, we were going to bed thinking, will he have a club to support in the morning? Now,
Yeah,
you can slag Alan Sugar off all you want, but one thing, he saved our football club. Now,
Right. Well,
uh, one car hit care put here. The board members state that they don't think they're doing anything wrong. One trophy and 50 managers in 22 years. Now, you can say Sugar won one trophy in 10 years. And yeah, I'll admit the 90s football under him was dreadful. But under you got to remember where we were coming from, Mia. We were coming from a club
so
that
you've
was broke, that was 8 million
so
in
then
debt.
you've Right, so then you've got to remember the club that we were when we had Sugar. We were like a 14 place team and we almost got relegated one year.
Yeah,
So
but
you've got to understand that we've come from that. So, like, we've slowly actually improved because Sugar got us to this place and then they've got us further on in the
yeah,
thing.
but we
Like,
haven't
Sugar
been
wouldn't have
successful
done
though,
that.
have we? We haven't won trophies. We haven't
Right,
won leagues.
but
We
we've
haven't won FA Cups. I know getting top four and for money wise, it is a good thing. And I agree, getting in the Champions League is a right buzz. You know, you feel excited, you got top four. But shouldn't
those
we be,
players,
shouldn't hang
sorry.
on me, should can I just finish my point? Shouldn't owners, you look at Manchester United under Fergie, they backed him every season. And Manchester United were probably the most successful club this country in the Premier League era. You look at Blackburn. Blackburn won a league because they backed Kenny Dalglish to win the league. You look at you look at other teams as well that have won FA Cups. Portsmouth won an FA Cup. Teams all around us have won more than what we've won in the last since 2008. Yeah, we were nearly under it. We nearly got there on the Poch, but to we should have backed Poch under that era and backed him with the players he wanted for us to kick on. But we've never kicked on. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Mayor, that we are the best run club financially in the Premier League. And most clubs do look at us with envy, how well we earn, and we've got a stadium, we can hold this event, that event. But I remember what it was like to go down the Tottenham High Road. Philip does, Ellie does, you do. Many older fans do, with an FA Cup or winning the FA Cup or winning. Philip probably remembered the Cup Winners' Cup and winning the FA Cup in '67, doing the double in '61. We got people come into the chat that will remember the double side. Going down the Tottenham High Road, it's okay being so far and being financially great, but we're Tottenham Hotspur. We're supposed to be the
Right.
pride of North London, and at the
Listen, right.
moment we're the pride of we're the pride of making money and doing events. But the football side's not the pride of North London because we haven't been successful. Bill Nick built us on a tradition of, and Arthur Rowe built us on the tradition of want to be in success. We had 3 cup finals, I read somewhere, every season under Bill Nicholson, 2 against Arsenal and 1 a Wembley final. We were successful. Every team, the 60s on the Bill Nick, we were successful. The early 70s on the Bill Nick, we were successful. The 80s side, which was largely handpicked by Bill Nick as a consultant to Keith Birkinshaw, we were successful. And then the wheels fell off because financially we were going down the tubes. Now, Levy and Enoch have done brilliantly on the financial side. We've got a beautiful new stadium that can use for multi events. I agree with you, Mia, 100%. I totally agree with you. But I'm a football fan. I want to see us win trophies. Right. I would rather have the old White Hart Lane and the championship winning side.
Now, get my point in, because you've obviously spoken now for a really long time, Dom, and I really want to get my point across because I feel like I'm not making myself very clear. My point is if you look at other teams that have also won in the past trophies, talk to Everton, they have won a lot of trophies in the past. Go and look up their trophy count. Their trophy count is big. Look at Aston Villa. They won a Champions League. We have never won a Champions League. 40 years ago, in the year that I was born, 82, they won a Champions League. Right? So we're not the only club in the same kind of situation where we have not won trophies more like recently. We're not the only club. Like, I just don't get this. Like, people think we just expected to win these trophies when we want to. Yeah, but we don't support our club because we get trophies. We support our club because we love our club, and we're not going to stop supporting them because they don't win trophies. Someone put in the chat, we had Poch, right? And we were in that era that was a less competitive. When Leicester won it, we were actually very lucky. So we were lucky not to to get to that point, because really it was less competitive. Poch got us to those finals with those players, yet they didn't win the final. They didn't win those finals, and they didn't put their arse into gear. It isn't just down to the board. Those players on those pitch in those semi-finals and finals did not turn up. They didn't turn up. They got us there, so they should have fucking well won it. They should have bloody well won it, and they didn't win it. So that's not down to everything, down to one person. That's the board all of the time. There is more factors to it, but everybody always likes to go on and on about the board when there's so many more factors into winning trophies than just the board. They got us to those finals and they didn't win that final. That was on them. That was on them players. So I just don't understand this whole, like, I understand you want to win trophies, but at the end of the day, we're not entitled to win trophies. Just like Everton, who were a big club and won lots of trophies. Just like Aston Villa, big club, they won the Champions League, a Champions League that we have never, ever won. And they're not doing the things that we do and acting as entitled as some of our fans. That's how I see it. They
actually won the European Cup, not the Champions League. It was a lesser competition in those days and easier to win. Just to bring that across.
What, in 82? I thought it comes under the Champions League in 82.
Yeah, it was European Cup at that stage. You know, they changed around the trophies in the 80s. Equivalent. Beside the point.
But listen, we could say the same.
Can I just say one thing? The comment that went through there is probably the most pertinent one that was made the whole evening was
I'll get it back up.
Alan Sugar prevented Robert Maxwell taking over Tottenham. I can guarantee if Robert Maxwell had taken over Tottenham back in 1991, there would be no Tottenham Hotspur now, because it would have been liquidated along with all his other assets whenever he jumped overboard in that ship in the Mediterranean. So that's just want to make that point, you know.
And
So
also, I just want to add, and look, it, it, it's the points me and Mia are making. Look, me and Mia agree in a lot of stuff, and Mia knows that, and it shows how passionate we are about our club. We love our club, and we all do. Philip can tell us more. I've seen a lot more Spurs than me and Mia put together. Um, so Mia, look, I understand what you're saying. I do agree with you what you're saying. I was just trying to put a different point in it, but I do agree with you what you're saying. Um, we've got Andrew Gregory here. Bill Nicholson said it's better to fail aiming high than succeed aiming low. And that's the point. That's the point. Look, me, you said about the players. We got to finals, and the players. It was the players' faults. But Philip, if I could bring you in on this subject as well, if we got to these finals and um, if if we got to these finals, Amir is right saying it was the players that let us down.
yeah, it
Surely,
was. It was.
surely that the players should come out and take collective responsibility for the mistakes they've made, and Eric Dyer should come out, and that Hugo Lloris, he's the club captain, should have come out on Sunday and publicly apologise for the mistake he made. It's
It was.
okay. I was going to say it's okay blaming the manager or blaming the board or blaming the owners, but surely the players should take responsibility. They're the ones going across that line. The players get away with it scot-free, and it
Well,
should not be.
Eric Dyer did come out on Sunday and, well, not
Mm,
apologising. He was the one that was sent out to face the press, and which he did. And that should have been Hugo Lloris as captain. But Eric Dyer took it on himself to come out. And I respect him for that. Okay. And but the thing about it is losing finals. I mean, finals is a 50-50 occasion, really. It can go either way. Do you think we had the majority of the play in the Champions League final against Liverpool, but we were undone by a refereeing decision that was
mm,
beyond farcical, giving a penalty for the ball hitting Soko's shoulder. So if we
mm,
hadn't given away a penalty in the first 30 seconds of that match, maybe we would have done better. But how do you come back from a start like that? You know, it's very, very difficult for any team, not just Tottenham. Okay, we've lost a lot of semi-finals. We've gone to semi-finals against Chelsea, with Man United, whatever, and we've lost
mm,
them on penalties and sometimes, which is a lottery.
mm.
You know,
Yeah,
so there's probably just a mental mindset. We're just not tough enough to get over the hump of these
mm,
games. Not like the sides in the 80s, which are Graham Roberts, Glenn Hoddle, Steve Perryman, big, strong
mm,
personalities in the team. If there's one thing lacking in Tottenham team, I think it's dominant, noisy shouters.
mm.
We seem to be too quiet on the pitch. And having a captain as a goalkeeper, I never agree with goalkeeper captains. He's too far
No,
back. The
yeah,
captain should be either a centre back or a midfielder who can see what's
yeah.
going on around him and shout and bully accordingly. But we don't seem to have that. And that's a thing that worries me a little bit. I'm hoping Romero will change that a little bit and maybe become a little more dominant. Højbjerg should be doing it. But Hugo Lloris, to me, is he's like a silent movie at the back there. He says nothing.
Also, can I address the comment? None of us are fighting. We're not just passion. Honestly, I'd never fight with these guys. I'm just passionate, and it's just there's no ill blood between any of us.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I know that. I mean, it's good. Like, it's good to have a good hard discussion like this. You know, we might not always agree on everything. I think all the three of us want the best for Tottenham Hotspur, and unfortunately, at the moment, we're not getting it. What's happened here? We've gone dead. Dermot's frozen out.
Oh, you're in charge, Philip.
Huh?
Nobody. It wasn't me. I didn't do it, guys. I didn't try and get him off the stream. I swear.
You didn't cut the cable or anything, no? No, that's all right. Anyway, let's see what Steve D says. On the way home, listening in the car, better than TalkSport, guys. Well, thanks very much, Steve. You don't hear a lot of sense regarding Tottenham on TalkSport, so hopefully you hear more of it here. Oh, he's back again. You there, Dermot?
Sorry about that. My computer keeps sort of crashing on me. It's a new computer, and I'm not really impressed with it.
All right, okay. We're just reading down a few of the comments here, just to...
Yeah, can I just say, where was the one here Tequila put in? Me and Mia are not fighting, are we, Mia? we were all right.
No, I just said that. We're really
He's
not fighting. None, like, it's just passion.
No.
It's just because I'm a passionate person. So
Yeah.
trust me, I'm
Yeah.
Greek Cypriot, and we just come across very passionate.
Yeah. And an Irish, get an Irish and
Yeah,
Greek Cypriot together, then all hell breaks loose. Talk Sport. I'm quite proud of that, Philip. Actually, we're better than Talk Sport.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm proud of that because I mean, you know me, I'm not a fan of talk sport at all.
Yeah.
You know, so blame the fans too. We can't blame the fans. No.
Yeah, look, I just want to quickly pop on now before we finish off, because we will be finishing off soon. Couple of transfer news, and I'll start with this one. Spurs have full replacements in mind for Hugo Lloris, Romero, Fabrizio Romero, and he said Spurs are also considering a new goalkeeper. There are 3 or 4 names on the list at Tottenham, but they are focused on January window. It's too early to say who's going to be the new goalkeeper. Philip, you both for me quite like Bazzuno from Southampton, the young Irish goalkeeper. Mia, is there anyone? I'll start with Mia, then I'll go to you, Philip. Mia, is there anyone you would like to see us bring in to replace Hugo?
I think who was we linked with that I thought was actually good. Oh gosh,
Brentford goalkeeper, Brentford keeper has been linked.
Yeah, the Brentford one. Yeah. I think he's good. I think that's probably. I can't really think of any. Like, I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Because you just don't know with goalkeepers. Like, you can say they're good, and then they come to us and they might not be good. So yeah, Raya. Yeah, Raya's one. I think he's good. Yeah. I like.
We need to buy a keeper that's like some of those. Pickford is 29, 30. Well, they say that's a good age to buy a goalkeeper. I think we need to be going a little bit younger than that to get the best value out of them over the years. You know?
Yeah, I do. Look, I think Bazzuno for me, Nick Pope from Newcastle, another good goalkeeper.
He's not going to leave Newcastle.
Yeah, well, look, that's what I would go for anyway. Would we need to? We got Philo. He says Mike. Who's that guy? From Milan is a good. Carl Simpson's gone for Neville Southall.
He wants to hold the goal anyway.
Oh Lord Jesus! Look, Tequila, you're going to need me.
How about this suggestion? We've got Ian Walker.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
I needed Tequila Mia just to watch him play.
I think Levy's probably having a chat with Pat Jennings. Will he come back in?
Do you know what? With Ian Walker, I remember having the reversible kit because my brother had one, the yellow and green. That's the one he had. I remember that for Ian Walker. That always reminds me of him for some reason.
Well, we are going to finish it off. This is a new feature of these pre-match shows. We are going to finish it off. We're going back in time a little bit. Now, we are going back to 1981-82. We're going back now. Not a lot of people know that. If I can find it, Philip, do you want to say people? They used to play at Main Road back in the day, didn't they, Man City?
Yeah.
When they weren't really successful.
No.
But we beat them in the cup final the season before, didn't we? Now,
we did.
Man City weren't the greatest side back then, were they?
No, they were a very average team. They were up and down relegation wise. They were.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember the show that I think they were on the verge of being relegated from Division 1. They won a penalty shootout against Gillingham. I think that was in the early 90s or something. So they could have been in Division 2. And then we all know what happened then. The Etihad money came in, and the rest is history. So no, they weren't. They were very much in the shadow of Manchester United.
Yeah. Just let me turn off John Watson there. And this is actually Old Main Road. This is now going back to 81-82 season. And I just thought we'd just put this game on here. This is a new feature. Where every pre-match show, we're going to try to show one old game from the past against current teams, and just to show the history we have with that team.
Yeah.
There's the Man City team. Do you want to read through it there for us, Philip?
Okay, Joe Corrigan in goal, Ray Ranson, fullback, McDonald, Reid, O'Neill, Tommy Caton, Dennis Stewart, he was a good player, Jerry Gow, Boyer, Tommy Hutchinson, who scored the goal against us in the final before. And is that Kevin Reeves underneath? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Bond was the sub who ended up working at Spurs under Harry Redknapp. Then we've got Clements, Houghton, Miller, Roberts, Villa, Perryman, Ardiles, Archibald, Galvin, Hoddle, and Falco. Very nearly the same team that won the FA Cup. Who's the missing link there? Crooks.
Crooks.
It's the only change, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was the team that won the cup, except for Garth Crooks. So,
and of course, Philip, Man City were in Division 3 at one stage.
Yeah, that's right. I knew they were very low. All right.
And then that Man City penalty in the late 90s League One playoff, they were 2-0 down and got a late equaliser. And then Peter Simons, we have too many average players, simple as that. I agree with that. Yeah. And then Carl Simpson, do with some of those players now? We could do, couldn't we, guys?
Just looking at the referee in this match, he's the image of Vladimir Putin.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Must be his father.
Yeah. To any Russians watching, we do apologise.
Well, sorry for that. Now, it's just political incorrectness there. But anyway,
but that's the point we were making yesterday, wasn't it, Philip? Though you could say this is the point we were making yesterday about the bullying on YouTube, and if we could quickly go into that, we could say that as a joke and have something said about us, but you can bully somebody on YouTube. And not have anything said about it. That's still the point, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. It is a bit silly. I'm afraid I have a work issue I have to deal with.
I know. I see it. We're just doing this game. Me and Mia can cover this, and then we will be ending off.
And I enjoyed the chat. Very good. Good, lively discussion today, as always. And I'll see you shortly.
We're back for the watch along tomorrow, Philip.
Yeah. I'll talk to you later on.
All right. I'll talk to you after the show.
I've got the brown paper bag to put over my head. Watch it.
I've got my cushion already. Just do that.
Okay. Bye, Mia.
See you later, Philip. Speak to you later.
Bye.
There's the Godfather coming.
Take care.
Taking there. Mia, we'll just do this game and then we'll call it a show then too. I just wanted this a new feature we're doing on the pre-match shows now, where we're just going back in time and show some old matches. One old match from a fixture. Very wet there, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, it is very wet. I saw that rain coming down. That's one pitch. Can you imagine the ball as well? Back then, the ball. They were heavy, weren't they? Because they used to soak up the water back then.
There's old Aussie thinking, why did I swap sunny Argentina for this? For the rain in Manchester. It always rains in Manchester anyway. Oh, go on. Do you know what? Oh, should have scored. Do you know what? I get more enjoyment watching these own matches than I do watching the team today sometimes, Mia.
Yeah, I know, I get that. Yeah, the pitch does look bad because it's an old pitch. Like back then, the pitches were definitely not the same as now.
Can I say this was actually Main Road? This was Man City's old ground before they moved to the Etihad. There's a question I want to ask me. Arsenal moved to the Emirates, right? Manchester City moved to the Etihad. We moved, of course, into our new stadium, but built on where White Hart Lane was. Are football clubs losing their identity? And this sort of goes back to the debate we were having over the board and the players. This more goes back to the supporters' trust. Are some clubs losing their identity and being disconnected from the fan base where it never used to be? Like back in here in the 80s, the fans and clubs were one. You there, Mia?
Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't mean to mute myself. Yeah, but I think it's difficult because sometimes, like, you have to keep up. You want to keep up with what's kind of happening in the Premiership, and at the moment, it is money. You know, money does talk, and I do get that. But I think the worst ones are probably something like with West Ham, because they're not even near their pitch. You need an Uber to get to onto their pitch. I swear the players Uber onto the pitch when they have to go on for the games. So it's even worse. So I think I do like it. When we go to the old school grounds, I do like it. I'm not going to lie. There's like really
Yeah.
special about going to those grounds when you
Mm.
watch them and you see there's not many fans and they're close to the pitch. Like, it is nice. But unfortunately, it's just the way that football's going. It really is. It is just the way
Mm.
it goes, unfortunately.
I mean, Wayne Bonner put here, I say football as a whole is losing its identity since they decided it was no longer a game, but a business opportunity. So he is right. Football used to be the game of the people. It's not the game of the people anymore, is it?
No.
Which is,
That's what I
which is
think
that.
that, like I say, it's become something completely different.
Mm, it is Tequila 316, but they had to set up a new club for themselves. Yeah, they did. Oh, ask Wimbledon fans how they feel. They had to set up a new club for themselves. Going on that, Mia, you look at Wimbledon, you look at the United fans, they all set up anti teams against their owners. You look at Man United fans, the anti Glazers did the same thing. Wimbledon fans weren't happy with what was happening at their club, set up the of course there's a Wimbledon and an AFC Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Do you think fans should be now trying to take back the power that they once had? Or do you think it is now gone too much the other way now that fans will never get the same
I think it's
same
gone too
do you know
far.
what I'm trying to get at? Do you think it's gone too far the other way now?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do think it's gone too far the other way, especially when you've got like when Man City got taken over,
Mm,
that, and they did all sports washing and stuff. Like, it's irreversible, is what I feel like. I feel like it's a bit now like irreversible. We can't
mm.
get it back.
Yeah, that's so true. And look, I'd love watching these old team. There's old
What a
Ricky now. Ricky
tackle!
and yeah. I mean the pitch there must have been dreadful to play on, but fans would turn up there, no roofs on some of these pitches either, Mia, and get absolute soaking wet and stand in that rain. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think?
When
Do you
you
think? Another thing as well, Mia. Do you think the supporters have changed over the years as well? As Roy Keane called it, the prawn cocktail
probably, I
brigade.
think it's probably the yeah. I do think that it has changed because now that when clubs went global, look at Man United, a global brand
Mm,
because everybody knew about Man United because of what they were achieving in the Prem. They did, they become huge. So it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it comes with success, doesn't it? That amount of
yeah,
this and notability, people are going to obviously then support them, and it becomes more of a brand to support Man U. Because I remember when I was a kid, there were so many Man United shirts. Like, everyone
mm,
was wearing a Man U or a Liverpool shirt. So,
yeah,
like, I spoke to someone today who's a Sunderland fan. So we're talking about Sunderland. I remember Sunderland used to be like when they used
mm,
to be around more when I was a kid.
mm. And Peter Simons put here, Levy couldn't care less about the trust. I don't think. Yeah, I sort of agree with that. And then Tequila 316, football's no longer really a working class sport, so to speak. It still has a lot of them, but not as many. If you look at the Premier League as a whole, Mia, it is sort of towards the corporate side, the tourists, the genuine fan. There's not many of them at the moment. You go to Tottenham and it's full of tourists. It's not full of proper Tottenham fans. Do you know what I mean? And back in the day, White Hart Lane, you wouldn't see many tourists at the game or at Main Road. And look at that poor fecker. Jesus, but he's soaking wet. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't see, but do you think too much money's in football now? Do you know too
There
much
is too
money because of Sky?
Yeah, there is too much money in football, but as I say, it's now irreversible, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
one of those irreversible things, a bit like social media. Like, if we could take back social media and slow it down and somehow adjust it a little bit, it would be
Mm,
fine. But I think everybody got chucked to social media so quickly, and it's ruined. It has ruined a lot of things. A lot of things have been ruined by social. Although it is good on some parts, I feel like it's ruined a lot of things in society having too much social media.
Yeah, I think social media, and that's the discussion me and Philip had yesterday, Mia, about the social media and the an amount of bullying and an amount of bullying that does go on all sorts of social media from all aspects of life. Um, we've seen it ourselves within our own fan base how people are turning on other people, and it's wrong. It shouldn't happen. And it's disgusting some of the stuff that people are being put through. And we don't condone it one iota. I mean, we totally condone it. Um, you know what I mean? We totally are against any forms of bullying on this channel. Um, what do you think the social media side have to do in that, Mia, to stop this? Should they take more of responsibility? Or do you think that social media, all they care about is the next bot that comes, or the next, you could get banned from Twitter, but you can start up again under a different name or under a different disguise. Do you think they
All
have to take
social
more
media,
responsibility? Yeah, and social media as a whole, and YouTube as a whole.
all social media. I think all social media needs to have an identity. So you have to
Mm,
have your ID proving who you are to go onto
mm,
it, so you can be held responsible for the things that you say. Then
mm,
you won't want to say these things because you're going to be held responsible. You don't want
mm,
the old Bill knocking on your door at like whatever time because you're typing away and being an absolute
mm,
wally to people. So making threats and stuff. So to me, it needs to be more policed, as in people need to take, like, they need to have ID so they can be taking responsibility, because I feel like sometimes as we just blame everything else. Oh, it's social media's fault. No, it's the people who are on social media, and they should be held accountable. They need to be held accountable for it, in my opinion.
yeah.
So that means they have to be ID'd so everybody can have then spray with it.
I'm sorry, I got all excited there. I was thinking saying, but just when Nelly scored, when Nelly conceded the cup, and I was put my hands up in the air, going, "No, please!" Just a flashback from Eric Dyer, Mia. I'm sorry. And then you see a fan in the background throwing on a toilet roll onto the pitch, which was a big thing back in the day. Do you know when you're going to the game today? Yeah, I just bring my toilet roll with me for some bloody reason.
Yeah, why not, I
Um,
suppose.
yeah, each to their own. Wayne Bonner's put here: Sky ruined, then killed football by by making it money making thing. Premier League, Champions League, etc. Football is money soft and lost. It's true. Tequila, good point, Wayne. What thinking about Sky or BSB? If you remember, I remember it coming back. We both can me remember the B Sky B, wasn't it? Before he went to Sky.
Yep.
Um, and then William Kelly, big up
Sorry,
William.
Ozzy's drinking water very loudly.
That's okay. Big up William Kelly, my Irish brother from down under. Hope you're well. And he puts N. So probably he means hello. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just see Tottenham. I don't know who scored. Was it Archibald or Falco? Oh, Steve Archibald scored. What we could do with them now, Mia, eh? And
Yeah, we could
then
do those
Tequila's put...
guys.
Yeah, Tequila's put Dyer's giving us all PTSD. He's given us bloody something. Oh, what a
And it's
good
definitely
save.
not a defender.
No, that's for sure. See, that's another point, Mia. Somebody
Oh,
said
look
it
at that.
today, and they made a really good point. Instead of us going, there's a man, wish we had now. Instead of us going buying a centre back, we turn Eric Dyer from a midfielder into a centre back. We keep changing people's positions instead of going out, paying the money for the position we need. Now, has anyone seen Paratici in this transfer window? How do we know
I
nothing?
think he's
We all think. How you want me? Sorry.
sorry. I think he's keeping a low profile because of what's going on. I think you have to understand his situation at the moment with Paratici. I
Mm,
think he can't be being a bit like too loud and like not look at me, but you don't want any eyes on you because of what's
Yeah,
going on. So I do understand with Paratici why he's sort of being a little bit quiet.
I do too. And then we also got Wayne Bonner. And if you do beat like Wayne Bonner and William Kelly and get your memberships, they're really cheap. One, $2.99, $4.99. It really does help the channel grind. If you also want to get in this super chat, the question from me and Mia about what we're talking about the match we're watching, about tomorrow's match, also you can get them in as well. Does help the channel roll. Wayne Bonner puts, alas, blame, responsibility, and accountability are no longer characteristic that people have. Social media destroyed that by allowing people freedom to bully and attack with some immunity. And Wayne's right. He's right by saying this, isn't he, Mia? Look, we've seen it ourselves over the last couple of days. What bullying can do, and it's wrong, isn't it? It's pure wrong, and it's about time these social medias take responsibility and start banning people that do this. Andrew Gregory put square pegs in round holes. Exactly. David Clark, big up David from Leicester. It says the biggest enjoyment in football was getting ready for Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. Although I played football for 26 seasons, so I missed those kickoffs. Yeah, I remember every league game was a 3 o'clock kickoff back in the day, and then you had your game on the BBC on the Sunday. I think that was 3 o'clock as well. But yeah, I do miss them days. And Tequila it says try Alcatraz. Is that what's that saying, Mia?
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Okay. If it's good, let me know.
Joe, I
Yeah,
remember
go
going
on.
on teletext and refreshing it. I remember teletext refreshing it, get the score
Oh,
update.
yeah. Do you remember the
Good old
quiz that used to be on
teletext.
Channel 4's teletext years ago?
Bamboozle.
Bamboozle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bamboozle. I used to love bamboozle.
Yeah, I do. I think I've realised what my problem with my computer is. I'm going to have to do a bit of a thing after this. But me, I'm really enjoying this. Nice seeing an old game. But look, there's John Bond, who took over from Malcolm Allison back in the early 80s. Took actually Man City to the 8-1 Cup final. Was manager of Norwich before he left there, but didn't stay too long at Man City. He was sacked, I think, the start of next season, the 82-83 season. Mia, look, we watch these old games, um, and we enjoy them. It's sad that we have to go back now at this time to get some passion for our club, isn't it? Where the current team can't give us this passion, can't give us this enjoyment. We have to go back to the back in the day team, if you know what I mean. It's very sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But then we did have I know we didn't win anything, but when we had the times with Poch, they were some of the best times that I remember. Because obviously I'm
Yeah.
a bit slightly younger, so I remember the times with Poch being the best times that we
Mm,
had. Them days were just yeah, great. So that's what happens with football, though. It always is ebbs and flows, I suppose.
mm.
Isn't as Alcatraz. I thought it was a prison. I was thinking, I
Yeah,
know that
same here.
name.
I there is a drink called
The
Alcatraz, but no, I know
clever.
what he means. Yeah, big up, David. And then Wayne Bonners, but I used to love teletext scores and the old video printer Bamboozle was Conte. Yeah, the old video printer on the Saturday afternoon at Grandstand. They were back in the day. They were good. And look, I love going back and Philip because some of the people, David Clark remembered the 70s as well. I mean, I was born the year we got relegated, and look, I agree with you. The Poch were great for recent years. For me, Mia were great times apart from the 80s. It's just if he was just backed, Mia, just backed for three players, I think we would have gone on. Do you know what I mean? It's that frustration, isn't it? It's that if only. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
If only we
then
did
you
this.
say
If
that, and you don't. But then you say that, but we don't know that that would have worked because other teams at the time were like not as good when we were getting that close, and we missed out to Leicester, we missed out to Chelsea, and then so I just don't think it wasn't as like what it is now. So you've got to think that it has slightly changed and it is different. So things like change and they obviously mutate and different teams come forward and they're better, etc. So that necessarily means that we definitely would have won something. He got us to a final and we didn't win. He got us to semi-finals and we still didn't win. So I think that that's obviously something to do with him as manager, possibly. So yeah.
It's I think Poch made a few mistakes. I mean, for the semi-final against Chelsea, I think he played Son at right back or something stupid, right wing back or something silly as that. Stupid mistakes like that, Mia, that cost us a game. But I know he got us to a final. He got us to FA Cup semi-final. I agree with you. It's just I wish if we did this, if we did that. But it's been the story of the whole 22 years under this ownership, hasn't it? If only.
Yeah, well, if I had wheels, I'd be a bike.
Do you know what? That's not a bad way. Listen, that was our game. We won 1-0 away to Man City. Listen, we're going to end it there. Thank you all for watching. I hope you really enjoyed the show. I had a blast doing it. Philip, me, we'll be back tomorrow with the watch along. Mia, when are you on next? When can people? You've got a clip up now on Spurs Between the Lines about the Man City games. You had your live show yesterday. When are you on next, Mia?
I'll probably be doing a reaction to the Man City game. It's probably going to be my next video coming out. And look out because I will be doing another live soon. I just got to plan it, etc. So yeah, if you could get over to Spurs Between the Lines on YouTube, give those videos a watch and a like. I would really, really appreciate it. And obviously the long one that I did live with Jack was really, really good. It was a really good conversation to have with him. Jack from Irish Hotspur, big up to him. So yeah, he was a really good guest to have on. So if you want to go and hear what he has to say as well about what's going on at Tottenham too. So it isn't just me. This is obviously somebody else's opinions too. So yeah, it was a really good podcast. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it in the end. I was nervous, but then I started to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, everyone, please get over to Spurs Between the Lines. Hit that like button. But also here, please hit the like button. Hit the subscription. Please hit the like button on this show. It does help with the algorithms. And please, when you're there, you can pick up your memberships. And it does really help the channel. We're on 5 members. If you can get up to 10 members, we will be doing a members only fan show. So please get your memberships as well. There's a $2.90. We tried to make them as cheap as possible. We know times are hard at the moment, and we know with the living crisis and the heat, we understand times are hard, but it does help. And if we can get up to 10 members, 5 more we need. We're 5 away. We're going to do a full members fan show as well. So please, thank you very much indeed for watching, and God bless you all. We're back tomorrow with the watch along with me and Philip Brady. I think Philip will be doing one of his grandfather talk shows in the morning, and then we're back tomorrow evening. And then Friday, we're back with the debate show. I look back at the Man City game and the debate show on where we're going as a club. And then Saturday, we're doing something. We're back. Saturday, we've got the pre-match show. Sunday, we've got the pre-match show for the Fulham game. Saturday, me and Philip probably be doing an old game from back in the day. And then Monday, we've got the watch along between Tottenham Hotspur and Fulham at Craven Cottage. So everyone, please enjoy your evening. Please get over to Spurs Between the Lines. Hit that like button for Mia. Hit the like button on the show she did last night. It's absolutely fantastic. Hit the like button and subscription button on here. If you're there, also pop over to Dave's channels as well, the Irish Hotspur, and hit the subscription on there. But I'm sure you already have because it's such a great channel. We're back tomorrow. Take care. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust.